All right, so I'm going to show you how to work a type of problem with a special limit. Now, we went over the 3 special limits that you'll see in class. Once later on in the year we learn L'Hopital's rule, how to find limits of an indeterminate, it actually becomes a lot easier, and then you don't really have to look for the special limits anymore. It's good to be on the lookout for them because it's a shortcut, but don't have really, it's not that huge of a thing later on. All right, so let's look. So the one special limit, I see a sign, and I know that I have a special limit that says sine of x over x. When the limit as x approaches 0, this equals 1. I know that that is going to be a special limit I'm going to be looking for. So I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind, but I'm going to erase it because it's right in front of my face. So I know if I can get somehow that, I can get a 1 out of this. Now, first rule, limits. Plug in the 0 and see if you're going to get an indeterminate form or a number. If you get a number, perfect, you're done. If you get an indeterminate form, we're going to have to manipulate this somehow to find the limit, if it exists. So I'll put 0 in here, so 0 minus 0 plus sine of 0 is 0, so that's all 0 up top. So my top is 0, and then 2 times 0 is 0, so it's a 0 over 0. Remember, do not write equals 0 over 0. You will lose points on the AP test. All right, so I cannot directly evaluate. I can't do direct substitution and evaluate for my limit here. So I need to do some manipulation, and this is where you're going to have to think a little bit outside the box. I see this 2 on the bottom. That really means I'm multiplying by 1/2. So I'm going to pull that on the outside first. I'm going to do 1/2 because that takes care of this 2 for me. Now I still have the limit as x approaches 0. And I'm going to break this up into 2 different fractions because if I can get sine x over x, I know that's 1. So let's see what I can do. I can say that x squared minus x over 2x plus sine x over, oh, the 2 goes away because of the 1/2 right here, over x. Hey, look, that's a special limit. All right, so far so good. I'm liking this. Hey, wait. I have a GCF up on top of this, on this one. I could factor an x out. So I can do 1/2 the limit as x approaches 0 of x times x minus 1 over x plus the sine of x over x. Not terribly bad. It's basic algebra. My x's cancel. I now have 1/2 of the limit as x approaches 0 of x minus 1 plus sine x over x. Hey, you know what? I'm good because now I can use my properties of limits and I could say 1/2 times the limit as x approaches 0 of x minus 1 plus the limit as x approaches 0 of sine x over x. When we had that plus, we just take the limit of this and the limit of this, and we can add those limits together. Now I have 1/2 times, well, if I put this in, I've got 0 minus 1. Remember, you've got to show the direct that you're putting it in. You can't just shortcut it and say it's -1. You have to show putting it in for the AP test. Plus, I need to, well, this is just 1 because it's a special limit. There's nothing to show there. It's just a special limit. And now we just simply do our math and we get 0. So this limit is 0. By using special limits, properties of limits, I pulled out my constant right off the bat. I'm in a habit of doing that, and I'll get you guys in the habit of always pulling your constants out all year long. Even though we saw it was an indeterminate form, this really wasn't that bad, but you do have to think outside the box because I had to break this into 2 different fractions, which you should have done last year in pre-calculus when we were doing trig identities. Hi, I'm Mr. Buzzard, and these videos are supplemental instruction for my students. If you found the video enjoyable, make sure you click the like button and click subscribe, as well as the bell for notifications to receive future videos on high school mathematics.